Hi all, welcome back. And today we are going to discuss about index in Pandas DataFrame. So the agenda is that we will discuss about what is indexing in Pandas DataFrame, how to set a custom index, how to reset an index in Pandas DataFrame, and the last topic, which is very important, is that is it necessary to have a custom index in Pandas DataFrame. So let's start with what is an index in Pandas DataFrame. Index is like an address. That's how any data point across the data frame or series can be accessed. Rows and columns both have indexes. Rows indices are called index, and for columns it's general column names. The index of a data frame provide a label for each of the rows. If not explicitly provided, Pandas uses a default range index that uses a sequence of consecutive integers starting from 0 as an index. In today's session, we will learn how to set one of the columns of a data frame as a new index so that it provides a more meaningful label for each row. Now let's import the necessary libraries, and we are going to work on the superstore dataset. Let me import the necessary libraries. So I'm going to import pandas, numpy, warnings, and I'm going to ignore the filter warnings. And then I'm going to read superstore dataset and going to change the column names, going to replace spaces with underscore, and if there is any dashes, we are going to replace with underscores so that we can have column names in more readable form. Let's see that. And I'm going to call the head method to see how the data looks like. As you can see here, when we have read this dataset superstored, by default, Pandas has provided the row indexes by using the Pandas default range index. So the rows indexes start from 0, whereas column indexes has the column names which are available in our dataset. For example, if you had seen the superstore dataset, it has column names like order ID, order date, ship mode, etc. So Pandas by default, it will read in that particular order. But for row indexes, it has used the Pandas default range index method. Let's verify that also. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a variable called index, and I'm going to use df.index attribute, and for columns, I'm going to use columns attribute, whereas for data, I'm going to use df.values attribute. Now let's see the type of index. Similarly for columns, and for data variable. Let's run our code, and you can see here index has a default range index, and you can see here it has been called as indexes. For column variable, it is again an indexes, and here you can see it is not mentioned as range, it is mentioned as base index. For our data variable, it is a numpy array. Let's see our data also for more clarity. So you can see here, this is a numpy array. Now let's see how we can set a custom index for a data frame. For that, we are going to use set underscore index method of Pandas data frame, and we are going to pass customer underscore ID to use it as a custom index for a data frame. Let's see that. We are going to create a new data set called df1, and we are going to use df data frame and calling set underscore index method, and then passing customer underscore ID as a parameter. Now let's see our df1 data set. Now you can see here we have used set underscore index method and pass customer underscore ID as a parameter. This column will no longer be a part of the return data frame, which you can see here in df1 method. Customer underscore ID has become a custom index. However, it is not going to affect the original data set. The set underscore index method returns an entire new data frame copy by default and doesn't modify the original data frame. Let's verify this by looking at our df dataset. So df is our original data set and we are going to use the head method. And you can see here we have by default the default range index, and you can see here customer ID is still there. Whereas you can see in df1 we do not have customer underscore ID as a column anymore. It has become a custom index. Now let's say if you want to create a custom index customer underscore ID for df data frame, how we can do that? We are going to use the in place parameter of set underscore index method. What we are going to do is we are going to call a data frame which is df data set, and we are going to call set underscore index method, and we are going to pass the value of customer underscore ID as a custom index, and then we are going to call a parameter called in place equal to true. The in place equal to true keyword in pandas method changes the default behavior such that the operation on the data frame doesn't return anything. It instead modifies the underlying data. It mutates the actual object which you apply it to. So let's run the code and see that. So we have not get any output. Now if I'm going to call the head method on df dataset, so you can see here customer ID has become a custom index for a df dataset, and customer ID is not available as a column anymore by using set underscore method. And since we have passed in place equal to true parameter, it has made the changes in our dataset or data frame itself. Now let's say for any XYZ reason you do not want customer underscore ID as a custom index for your data frame. You want to use pandas default range index method as your index method for your data frame. In that particular case, we can use reset underscore index method of pandas to reset your index back to pandas default range index method. Let's see that. We are going to create a new data frame called df2, and we are going to call our df dataset which has a custom index of customer ID, and we are going to call reset underscore index method. Let's see our df2 dataset by calling head method, and you can see here we have got a range index method 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and customer underscore ID has become the column name for df2 dataset. Now let's see our original data frame df. I'm going to call the head method, and you can see here customer underscore ID is still the custom label for us. Now let's say you want to have customer underscore ID as your column name and range index as your default index, and range index as your index in your data frame df. What we are going to do here, we are going to call reset underscore index method, and we are going to pass in place equal to true parameter. Let's call the head method and see whether we have been able to call customer ID or not. And you can see here we have got our default range index back, and customer ID has become our column name. Now let's say if we want to drop customer underscore ID from a data frame which is a custom label and do not want to include as a column name, in that particular case what we can do? Let's see our df1 dataset. You can see here customer underscore ID is a custom label for us, and we do not want it as a variable anymore in our dataset. What we are going to do here, we are going to call reset underscore index method, and it has a parameter called drop equal to true, and then we are calling the in place parameter and going to call true also. What it is going to do is we will get the default range index, but we will not have customer underscore ID as a column anymore. So you can see here we have got a default range index, but there is no customer underscore ID. Let me show you the column names. So you can see here there is no customer underscore ID as a column name anymore. Now let's discuss about how we can choose a good index. If you want to set a custom index for a data frame, I will suggest use that column that is both unique and descriptive. By default, Pandas does not enforce uniqueness for its index and it allows the same value to repeat multiple times. The examples which we have done where we have used customer underscore ID as an index, that is not actually a good index for a data frame. And as I had mentioned, the good index property is that it should be unique. And you can see here CG-12520 has multiple values. It is not unique. And that is why customer underscore ID is not a good index for us. That said, a good index should have a unique values to identify each row. In Pandas, the set underscore index method has the ability to verify that all values used for the index are unique by setting the verify underscore integrity parameter to true. And if you attempt to set the index to a column with duplicate values, then it will raise an error. Let's see that. As I had mentioned, customer underscore ID column has duplicate values and it will be failed to be set as an index when verify underscore integrity parameter is set to true. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call set underscore method for a DF data set and I'll be passing customer underscore ID and you can see here verify underscore integrity is a parameter. Let us call that. Equal to true. And let me call in place equal to true also. And you can see here, because we have called verify underscore integrity parameter and set it as true, we have got an error. And you can see here what is an error? Value error, index has duplicate keys. And that is why, in my point of view, customer underscore ID is not a good index for this particular data frame. So my suggestion is, if we want to use a custom index, then use that column which is unique and descriptive. Do we need a custom index? That is the last question which I wanted to discuss with you guys. The short answer is no. One can complete all of your analysis with just the default range index. There are some tasks that become easier with a custom index, so it is important to understand how it works. But let me tell you, I have never used custom index for my analysis. It is up to you whether custom index can be helpful for you for your analysis or not. So that is for today's guys. In the next session, we are going to see how we can subset and slice our data frame using log, ilog and square bracket notation method. Till then, take care.